You're about to make a huge payment to your supplier. Even if it's not your first time, it can be a little scary. In this video, I'm going to show you the different methods in which you can safely pay your supplier. Stick around. What's up guys? Crescent here, and welcome back to my channel where I share with you the best tips and strategy videos just like this one on how to succeed with Amazon private labeling. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's get started. Okay. So if you found a supplier, negotiated a price, and they want you to make a payment to start production. Typically, that's a few $1,000s of your hard-earned money that you're about to send someone that you've probably never met or seen before face to face. I know, it can be daunting, but here are 3 methods that you can safely pay your supplier so that you have some protection in case something goes wrong. Okay, let's go over the forms of payment that you can expect your supplier to request from you. First, most suppliers will try not to accept credit card or PayPal payments. This is for a couple reasons, mainly because they don't want to pay the credit card or PayPal fees associated with accepting these types of payment. Secondly, they can be victims to fraudulent buyers making false claims or using stolen credit cards. So you have to understand from their perspective, business-wise, why they would prefer not to accept these. They will always typically prefer you to pay them directly with TT, which stands for telegraphic transfer, otherwise known as bank wire transfer, where you directly wire funds from your bank account directly into theirs. There's little to minimal fees using this method, which is why they prefer to use this method, and as a buyer, you can't make a claim after the money has been transferred. So it's the safest payment method from the supplier's perspective. Because of this, wire transfers offer zero protection for you. Once the transfer has been initiated and the money leaves your bank account, the money's gone. You have no recourse should anything happen with your order. So, I do not recommend using wire transfer on your first transaction with a supplier. However, after you've established some rapport with your supplier and you're comfortable dealing with them, you may consider using this payment method. A caveat here is you can use Alibaba's trade assurance program. If your supplier insists that you pay by wire transfer and you're comfortable with doing that, you can use Alibaba's trade assurance program to protect your purchase, as Alibaba will cover wire transfer transactions. Trade assurance will also cover credit card and e-check payments. Like other payment options, there are fees associated with using Alibaba's trade assurance. Take note that your supplier will probably make you pay for these fees, which is anywhere from 2.4 to 2.8%. So as you can see, it can add up pretty quick on large orders. You can always negotiate with your supplier to see if they would be willing to split the fee with you, or on future orders for them to waive it. When using trade assurance, you need to make absolutely sure that all the details of your purchase agreement that you've negotiated with your supplier are well documented in the trade assurance contract. For example, how many units, the quality, material, delivery time, shipping method, the responsibilities of the supplier, etc. It's common when dealing with suppliers that they will prefer to communicate and negotiate outside of Alibaba's Trade Center messaging system and use services such as Skype or WhatsApp, since Alibaba's Trade Center messaging system is difficult to use. So in those cases, there's no record of the service agreement or terms that you've negotiated within Alibaba's system. So make sure you document all the details in the trade assurance contract so that it's trackable by Alibaba. Otherwise, if you need to make a claim, Alibaba will not have the details of your terms that you made with your supplier. Ideally, you should make your payment with a credit card, not a debit card, through trade assurance instead of using a wire transfer. As if anything does go awry, you also have your credit card company on your side to protect your purchase. Moving on. It should be obvious at this point, if your supplier accepts credit cards, then you can go ahead and use that method, and you'll, at the very least, if anything goes badly, you can make a claim with your credit card company. Again, the supplier may want you to cover the credit card fees. Lastly, one of the most popular forms of payment is with PayPal. This is the method that I prefer, especially when dealing with new suppliers. The reason is because PayPal is known for siding with the buyer when there are disputes. Again, use a credit card as the payment method with PayPal so you have a backup method to make a claim should PayPal decide against you. PayPal has the highest fees at 2.9%, so don't be surprised if your supplier expects you to cover it. Again, negotiate with them to see if they're willing to split it with you, and on future orders, waive it. A very important thing to note is if you do use PayPal, never send your payment as friends and family. Friends and family has zero fees, and although it sounds appealing, it offers zero protection. Don't use it. Pro tip: a lot of people ask if it's necessary to pay all of their balance up front. From the supplier's perspective, they will always prefer that you pay 100% up front. However, it's not uncommon to pay a portion up front, such as 30 to 50%, and the remaining balance when the manufacturing is complete. For example, you can stipulate terms that you will pay the remaining balance once manufacturing is complete and you've had the product inspected for quality assurance. Inspection isn't always necessary, but payment terms structured this way will ensure the supplier sticks to the negotiated production time so they can receive the balance owed to them. Okay, so I hope you now have a clearer understanding of how the whole payment process works with your supplier. It can be a little scary, but this is how transactions are done thousands of times every day all over the world. So just make sure you cover your bases. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing and give it a thumbs up or share it with a friend. I'd love to hear from you too, so leave a comment or a question below, and if you haven't already, join my Amazon Facebook group. There's a link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching.